Hello everyone, we are from the third slot group. We will present our analysis of the short story The Shawl, The Innermost Thought of a Mother, which written by Cynthia Ozick. Here is our group. My name is Anissa Putri and I will talk about the first element, which is setting. First of all, if you read this book, The Shawl, you will know that the author, Cynthia Ozick, did not specify the setting. Neither the country nor the camp named, but the story was obviously happened in about 1930s during the Holocaust or World War II. The author says it herself in one of her interviews. She said she read one of the books about Nazi atrocities. The title of that book is The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. And there is one sentence there about a baby being thrown against the electrified in a death camp. That is where the idea of the show came. So the story setting is obviously during the Holocaust in a Nazi concentration camp around 1930s. Here is the visualization of the camp. There are several places mentioned inside the camp according to this passage. The first is the roads. In this passage, one place is mentioned, which is Barak, place where they sleep. And the last place, according to this passage, is the roll call arena. That's it for the show setting. The next elements will be presented by my friends Bunga.
Okay, so I'm going to sharing my analysis about the second element, which is the shell characterization. The first character in this story is Rosa. Rosa is a Jewish woman who, along with her daughter and niece in the barracks. Rosa's one focus in the shell is how to keep her daughter Magda alive for as long as possible, even though she knows that the child is going to die. She fears that her niece Stella is waiting for Magda to die so she can eat her. Later, Rosa fears that someone in the camp will kill Magda for the same reason. She also fears that the Nazi guard who will kill Magda the moment she is discovered. Rosa knows that Magda will die, but she draws on every resource of her body, mind, and soul to delay that moment. The second character is Magda. Magda is Rosa's daughter, a 15-month-old child when she is killed. Magda is the center of Rosa's existence that Rosa gives Magda most of her own food and focuses much of her energy on worrying about that might happen to Magda on keeping the child alive. Magda learns as an infant not to cry when she is hungry. Instead, she satisfies her hunger by sucking on the shell. The shell becomes the center of her existence, her own baby, her pet, her little sister. She hides under it to keep from being discovered by the Nazis. Magda doesn't cry until Stella takes her shell away. The third character is Stella. Stella is Rosa's 14-year-old niece. She is described as a girl who is too small with thin breasts, whose knees are tumors on sticks, her elbows chicken bones. Such a description hints at the near starvation conditions under which prisoners live in the camp. Stella is always cold, always hungry, and jealous of Rosa's baby, who at least has the comfort of her mother and her child. Stella's most important action is to cause Magda's death by taking the child's shell for herself. I was cold, is all she says later in the explanation. Next, the third element will be described by my friends Fahruziah.
My name is Faruzia Salihah. I will talk about the show's plot. The show tells about three characters named Rosa, Magda, and Stella who live in a Nazi camp concentration. Rosa tries to keep Magda alive by hiding her in a shell, which also miraculously keeps Magda alive for 3 days and 3 nights. But the miracle didn't last long. In the end, Magda died because of being thrown to the electric fence. The stage of the plot: 1. Exposition. Introduction to the characters, which are Rosa, Magda, and Stella. It shows from the passage Stella could the cold of hell, how they walk on the roads together. Rosa with Magda curled up with windsored breast, Magda woke up in the shawl. 2. Rising action. Rosa keeps Magda hidden under the shawl so she won't die. It shows from the passage Rosa knew Magda was going to die very soon. She should have been dead already, but she had been buried away deep inside the magic shawl. Mistaken therefore a shivering mound of Rosa's breast, Rosa clung to the shawl as if it covered only herself. 3. Climax. Stella still Magda's shawl. It shows from the passage, then Stella took the shawl away and made Magda die. Afterwards, Stella said, I was cold. 4. Falling action. Rosa sees that Magda is in the middle of the camp, screaming and about to be seen. It shows from the passage, Ma! Again, Magda was wavering in the brilliant sunlight of the arena, scribbling on such beautiful little pen scenes. She saw that Magda was grieving for the loss of her shawl. She saw that Magda was going to be died. 5. Resolution. Rosa stays still and watches Magda thrown to the electric fence. It shows from the passage, at the moment Magda's feather round head and her pencil legs and balanced belly and zigzag arms pressed against the fence, little voices were met in their growling, urging Rosa to run and run to the spot where Magda had fallen from her flight against the electric fence. But of course Rosa did not obey them. She only stood because if she ran, they would shot. For me, the plot is makes sense, even though the ending is kind of sad because Magda died. The next is narrative perspective. The short story uses a third-person omniscient point of view. In the third-person point of view, the narrator talks about the narrator, the characters from the outside, and referring as she. It is called omniscient because the narrator can see something through the eyes of all characters. In my opinion, since the story is set in the background of Nazi-era atrocities, I think it's better to use a first-person point of view so that the reader can feel more about what the characters are feeling. Next, I will explain about the topic question. According to the short story by Cynthia Ozweek, our group chose a topic question about one of the characters. The topic question is, in the short story, in the third paragraph, it stated that Rosa dreamed of giving Magda away in one of the villages. Why she wanted to give her baby Magda to other person? The answer is because she was filled with fear and despair. First, what made Rosa was filled with fear? But Rosa and her baby is not safe. They was in a terrible war situation that any time they might die. So one, she was in a terrible war situation. She could live blind for a minute and push Magda into the hands of any woman on the side of the road, but if she moved out of line they might be shot. The passage above explained about Rosa's thought of giving her baby to another person. Since Rosa, Magda, and Stella live in a concentration camp that no one has no mercy, Rosa is afraid about Magda's safety. We can say Rosa was filled with fear from the passage because the situation is horrible. If she stepped a little out of line, the Nazi soldier would shoot her. The next step will be explained by my fellow.
Next, I will continue the second and the third point. The second point that the reason of why Rosa felt with fear because Rosa was in a scary and terrible war situation which at any time they can be slaughtered. Living in a barracks with fear, raising and caring for Magda in such situations make Rosa has to be alert. Rosa must have an extra vigilance to hit Magda. At the time, babies were forbidden to live. Furthermore, with full vigilance, Rosa guards Magda against Stella's attempt to take the scarf and want to kill and eat Magda. We can see it in the passage. Rosa hid her in the barracks under the shelf, but she knew that one day someone would inform, or one day someone, not even Stella, would steal Magda to eat her. Rosa had to be suspecting everyone, including her niece. Stella really wanted her baby, and she tried to take the scarf on the grounds for the reason that she was very freezing. However, Stella's decision to take the scarf meant bringing death to Magda. Another passage that shows the fear of Rosa is this in this passage is when Magda began to walk, Rosa knew that Magda was going to die very soon. Something would happen. She was afraid to fall asleep. She slept with weight of her thigh on Magda's body. She was afraid she would smother Magda under her thigh. That shown in Rosa often lacked sleep at night, covered Magda with her body when going to sleep, and gave special alert to Stella.
The next is what made her felt desperate. As a mother, Rosa wanted the best for her child, wanted to see her child grow up and develop well. While in her situation that she is in concentration camp, she cannot give this to Magda. Rosa felt that if she stayed with Magda, her baby, she would not be able to provide for Magda's need, whether in terms of clothing, food, or a proper place to live. First, couldn't provide proper clothing. A 15-month-old baby like Magda has skin that still very vulnerable, sensitive, and easily infected. In the story, it is explained that Rosa only gave Magda a shawl as her protection because she could not buy or give Magda any other clothes. The hidden existence of Magda also makes her only be able to take shelter behind the shawl. In addition, the author takes a winter setting so that Magda can feel the cold more than adults can feel, and it is not good for Magda's health. The second is couldn't provide a proper place to live. Rosa and Magda live in concentration camp, which is not a good place for a child to grow up and develop. The situation in the concentration camp is full of gunshots, crying, and screams that can interfere with a child's psychological development. Magda did not die, she stayed alive, although very quiet. In the passage, it can be seen that Magda's psychological development is a little different from other children of her age. Children her age tend to cry and cannot stay silent when in the same situation as Magda, but Magda just keeps quiet. Magda did not cry or make noise regardless of the situation was in the concentration camp. Besides, because Rosa can only provide Magda with a shawl as a place for her to take shelter, her physical growth can be disrupted because this makes Magda limited in terms of movement. She lived that long but she did not walk very well, partly because she was only 15 months old, and partly because the spindles of her legs could not hold up her fat belly. If Magda remains in the shawl and does not move freely, then her physical development can be disrupted because 15 months of age is the age at which children begin to actively move and grow. Third, couldn't provide food with good nutrition. As a mother with a baby, Rosa must eat healthy and regular food so that she can smoothly produce milk for her baby. However, in the concentration camp, she was not fed properly. Even when she was fed, she gave her food to Magda. Due to the inability of Rosa in providing milk to Magda, Magda needs to took the corner of the shawl and milked it instead, which was not good for her health. And perhaps it was for these external reasons that Rosa had the thought of giving Magda her baby to someone else.
Okay, everyone, so that is all from our arguments. It can be concluded that the reason why Rosa wants to give her child to the villagers were due to her fear and despair. She felt scared because both she and her baby are not safe. The soldier might shoot her if she crosses the line and if the soldier discovers about Magda's existence. They could shoot her too. Rosa felt desperate because she could not give Magda what she needs. She couldn't give Magda proper clothes, a good place to live, and also the nutrition food and the children her age should get so that she can grow up and develop properly.
That is all from our group. Thank you for your attention and your time. Don't forget to give us your question on Sipajar. Thank you.